Yeah. Again, your program notes, yes, they were very powerful, but you sort of very much seem to be more around the persuasion rather than the mandatory argument in terms of the vaccination. And when you see figures like 25% of players in the EFL saying they will not get vaccinated no matter what, do you think it should be mandatory, or do you still think it's just a question of persuading and educating?
It's a question of persuading. I think mandatory makes, from a moral point of view, it should be mandatory for each person, I think, because but it's not from a loyal point of view, if that makes sense. Legal. From a legal point of view, so they say, you have to, otherwise you blah blah blah, these kind of things. I don't see that. But from a moral point of view, because if I can do something but helps the people around me, that's for me mandatory. So, but that's obviously, people see that differently. So, but again, I think I'm in this specific case. I'm 54 years old. I'm really a big believer in that, that you can convince people about the right things to do, but I'm not sure in this specific case. So, and England is a much better place vaccination rate wise than Germany is, for example. And with parts of, it's unbelievable how aggressive the anti-vaxxer scene is, and all these kind of things, and how clear they are, and with all the things they obviously know better than the rest of us. So it's really tricky. It's really tricky. But no, I don't think it should be mandatory. But so legally, but morally, yes.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much. Dave Maddock and then Andy Hunter, and we'll go to the Sundays after that. Dave.
Jurgen, hi. Sorry to ask you a more mundane question than the serious COVID stuff, but you say about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and he's playing the best he's been, and he's been really hugely important for you, but he's actually got only 18 months left on his contract now, and there's no sign yet of any extended deal. And you've got a couple of players a bit like that, with like Divock, who's really important as well, and he's only got sort of 6 months left. I just wonder, like, is it important to you to get these players who make these contributions without necessarily always being in your starting 11? Is it important to get them signed up, and particularly with Alex and how he's bringing something different now?
I think it's like that's a completely normal situation. So it's now, I think we don't have to talk about potential of these boys or whatever. It's then about what makes sense for both sides in 6 or 18 months or whatever, these kind of things. But it's not important in the moment at all. In the moment, it's absolutely important. How can you contribute in the moment when you play? It's the only thing what is important. It's now not the two players which you mentioned. We will not stay together forever. So that's how it is. And if somebody wants to go somewhere else, we have to find a solution for it. If we want to have somebody from another club, we have to find a solution for it, all these kind of things. But it has nothing to do with now. And I don't plan with players for like coming in the case of they can, the others cannot play. It's about how do you play in the moment, and then you are in the starting lineup. If your contract expires in 2 months, in 4 days, or in 5 years, makes absolutely no difference. So they're all important, but not because they are happy when they don't start. They're important because they can really contribute in a moment when they start or when they come on. And that's why they are Liverpool players.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. And thank you to Andy Hunter, who said that his question was asked by Chris Baskerville, a similar themed question. So we can go straight to the Sunday embargo now, which is cool.